Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, 4. Driving that train, reading Mark Twain. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. Don't you know, L.A. Park, I'm losing my mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vandal Drummond.
The other hippie.
The other hippie, yes. I am an Othro hippie with Fredo Esparza, and, well, so much to talk about right now. This is another edition of LuchaWorld, and, hippieism is the theme in this podcast.
We'll talk more about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So much going on, and I guess I should call this Fredo's LuchaWorld show, because he is so up on everything, and I have watched hardly anything, although it is such an exciting time in Lucha Libre.
Anything we didn't watch, we just pretend to.
Exactly. We're just going to start pretending. I'm going to imagine I've seen.
Yes.
Which makes sense, because I got back about a week ago from Cauliflower Alley, and I was imagining all sorts of things, because it was one beautiful hallucinatory trip. From start to finish.
Uh-huh.
The beautiful thing about Vegas is you don't have to drive anywhere, so you can just imbibe and vape or whatever you want to do, and it's beautiful. I had a really, really wonderful time.
There was no Mil Mascaras, though, right?
There were so many people absent this year, especially in the Lucha Libre phase. No Mil Mascaras, no Mondo Guerrero.
Wow.
He's been there almost every year. Ario Romero was at last year's.
But he's not a regular.
He's not a regular, but I was kind of hoping he would be. Terry Funk, was not there.
He's getting an operation, isn't he, or something?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard he made one appearance in New York and felt he couldn't really make two in such a short amount of time. But saw a lot of really wonderful people. My dear friend Karen Merritt. Tom Burke, who got me my first press pass back in 1979. Met a lot of really cool people.
I think I was barely crawling in 1979. It's not a.
I hope you were like about 1 year old. I hope you weren't 7 or 8. That would alarm me if that was the case.
It's not a Lucha World or Slam and Stand podcast without me trying to make you sound older, way older.
Also, the MPW crew was there, consisting of Logan X. Our dear friend Tex Tunney, and the ever fun Whiskey Fists McIntosh. Hung out with them. It was great having them along. And also somebody there who's a regular, who I just want to bring up momentarily, is Art Williams, who is the guy that I call the unsung hero of Southern California territorial wrestling, because he is probably the least recognized name in Southern California wrestling history.
So you needed me at Las Vegas to say, who is that guy?
Exactly.
Would have made your week, right?
Exactly. Art Williams is a guy who, did probably, for years was a referee, ring announcer, did probably every non-wrestling job. And he's somebody that I would call the goodwill ambassador, because, there was a lot of people who worked for the LaBelle promotion, who kind of didn't give the fans the time of day. But two people who were really good to the fans were Art Williams and Jeff Walton. And Art Williams especially went out of his way to talk to us fans, even when we were asking him 101 dumb questions. But the reason I bring him up is Dan Farren's California podcast is...
Classic Wrestling Podcast.
I sound like an old man. The California show, yes. The California show will be on next week, and we'll have Colonel
This is
Sanders.
the Lucha. This is Lucha show.
But we are going to be setting up an interview with Art Williams, and if you sit down and talk with Art, he has so much to tell about the history of Southern California wrestling. And the other joke here is we're speaking into our trusty MP3 recorder. I stopped by Fredo's to bring it with me to Cauliflower Alley in case there was an opportunity for great interviews.
It's not the first time we do this, too. We take this thing everywhere and we never interview anyone.
I know, it's so true, or the batteries run dead. There's always some comedy of errors going on. I was in such a haze that I probably wouldn't have known how to operate the thing. And besides that, there was not a big lucha presence there. Although, I do kick myself. I wish I just recorded some sound bites of my friend Karen Merritt. She has the cutest Texas dialect, and I actually wish I put it on MP3 just to put on this show, even it's not lucha related.
It's wrestling related.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, she was a worker in the '80s. Really cool chick. And I should have just had her read a lucha report or something like that.
You could have done that.
Well, okay.
You'll have to invite her to one of the other podcasts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, Fredo, you're going to come to Cauliflower next year, aren't you? That's
maybe.
Okay, maybe. That's a maybe.
That's a maybe.
I want everybody to email Fredo and say, you must go. Okay. On to lucha.
You're done with Las Vegas?
Well, I didn't...
There was really not a lot of lucha.
I just wanted to do... Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of lucha-related stuff. No, it was a wonderful time. I understand totally why people love DDP.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page.
There's a lucha. He was in AAA.
That's true. That's the first
and
time
the guy he's helping was in AAA too.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, and I was even briefly... that was when I was briefly with Ron Scholar booking the local talent when they were on those shows.
So you booked DDP, basically. Just kidding.
I wish I could brag that. I wish I could brag about that.
Did you get to see him back then, or
yes, yeah. The funniest thing I ever saw was that was when Jake had that Cobra.
Yeah.
And we're back in the dressing room area, and in the sports arena there are several dressing rooms, and then a whole area where all the wrestlers and crew hung out outside.
Yeah.
And you see Chavo Guerrero go into the dressing room, and about 3 minutes later you hear this scream, and Chavo is running out of the dressing room screaming, laughing at the same time, not in absolute horror, but... And then you see Jake chasing him with a Cobra.
Oh, jeez.
It was like two junior high kids having a prank. It was it was funny.
Too bad they couldn't do that at Cauliflower.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was mock fear. Chavo looked like he was half scared but half cracking
So how did Jake look?
Jake looked good.
Yeah.
Jake
compared to what he looked like.
Gave a very moving speech. The most moving story... Well, everything that Diamond Dallas Page said was very moving. But there was one off microphone happening that where he's always on my good guy list. I met a fan there who had a ticket to the show. He had a ticket stub to the show that he was at live when DDP won the WCW title.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
He was talking to me earlier saying, yeah, I hope he signs it. And I'm going, yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. And, I guess he went up to Diamond Dallas Page and showed him the ticket stub and asked if he'd sign it. And Diamond Dallas Page knew exactly what date that was. Gave the guy a big hug.
Oh, wow.
And just said, thank you. Thank you so much for being a fan.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
So
not anybody else? Anybody you hated at this? Just kidding.
I'm trying to think. Anybody else?
You notice how I try to bring in like the negatives?
Okay, I'm trying to think of the people.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. That guy was there, but I can't comment on him.
No, this was a fun one. Oh, and also just want to give a big thanks to Eric Schmiel for including me in a lot of Cauliflower activities, buying me a couple of beers, and
that's why you couldn't use the audio.
That's right. It's Eric Schmiel's fault.
You would have lost it.
No.
Or you would have recorded some.
No, I've been doing.
You know what I was thinking? I go, can you imagine if we would have done a slam and stand with you over there in Las Vegas?
Oh.
Remember that one show we did when you
at the bowling alley?
Yes.
You know what? They have a bowling alley at Gold Coast. They have a motherfucking bowling alley.
I think that show was the downfall of that podcast.
No. That was where it could have gone sky high. They have a bowling alley at the motherfucking Gold Coast. We should do a slam and stand.
I can only imagine poor Dan having to go through that whole thing again.
I'll try to get my friend Mamacita to come with us.
Yeah.
Remember she did those great sound bites on that show?
I try to forget.
Oh, God. Oh, we've got a future, baby.
Yeah,
we've got a future.
Well, we got to get to AAA now.
Yeah, let's get to the biggest news is...
Well, actually, the biggest news was actually La Park quitting, but we got to go first to the the beginning, I guess, more or less.
You're right. I'm getting overexcited about the LA partners.
They had a show called the Gran Sorpresa, the Big Surprise, on April 15th. And we weren't really expecting a lot of surprises. I wasn't, at least, because usually just get one. But the Cubs fan had mentioned that there was going to be a surprise. He knew something a little sooner than everybody else. Although I don't think the surprise he was expecting ended up happening.
Really?
I think it was they were planning something else.
Oh, do you know what it was?
He didn't tell me.
Okay.
I could ask, but I don't really.
No
I don't like to interrupt. I don't like to.
Biggie.
I don't want to bug him too much. He works too hard. The big surprise for this show was that Blue Demon Jr. showed up and announced that he was now signing a contract with AAA, and he would be part of the promotion. And then he introduced another big surprise, which ended up being Axel, who happens to be the grandson of Santo. Who, for anybody who doesn't know the history about this, he started back in 2003, 2004. He was wrestling as Axel, the grandson of Santo, for indie shows and all these different places. And I guess the word got to El Hijo de Santo, and he wasn't very happy about it, so he sued him.
That seems to be a Santo family trait.
Yeah, so he started
sue somebody.
Well, first he complained about it, then he basically told me he couldn't use it. Then I guess he kind of sued him. And then when Santo went on the outs with Hijo Santo went on the outs with CMLL decided to pay him back by bringing in Axel. This was back in 2008, 2009,
okay.
I think. And so Santo got pissed at CMLL for doing that. And then, but the thing is, Axel, I saw him when he was working indie shows. He was basically, at best, he was average.
That's what I had heard. Yes.
When he went to CMLL, he just seemed he wasn't in the league, in their level. Mm-hmm. So he didn't last.
Right.
So then now he's in AAA, and I get the feeling this was basically them taking a shot at Hijo Santo.
Yes.
And I guess Hijo Santo ended up paying them back the other way later, which we'll get to in a bit. But although it wasn't Santo who did it, more or less.
Yeah. No, is it the type of thing? He might not be in their league. Is it the type of thing
in AAA? Because they do storylines.
Yeah.
He works a little better there.
Good. Okay. That's what I was going to say. It's not like he had messed up anything.
No, it's like in CMLL, it's a lot about work rate. And you could really tell, fans aren't going to accept you if you're a technical and you can't work, or you can't do a really flashy high spot. Mm-hmm. You're basically not going to be a big name.
Gotcha.
Whereas in AAA, they have Cibernetico working on in there. They have they still have the other Parka, who's basically he's not any good in the ring. So
right.
So he should be fine as long as he's not. I don't know if he's going to be at that level. But I think they're basically using him to elevate their guys.
Gotcha.
So that's how it's going to end up. And it's there to just pick at Hijo Santo. So that's basically it.
I know sometimes I think it's absolutely silly that they do it, but it is part of the business. And I bet you if we were promoters,
we'd probably do this all the time.
Exactly.
We'd be like, fuck you guys. We're bringing in our own fake Mystico and fake Santo, fake Conan.
Exactly. I think if you have that ability to pull a lever.
You imagine
if I pull a lever.
I tell people, imagine if I was running CMLL, I would be coming up with all these fake AAA guys. I would have came up with the fake Dorian Roldan and stuff like that. That would have been horrible.
I think instead of Axel, they should call him. They should have his name be in no way related to Santo.
They should just call him asshole, or have him wear a Santo mask. You have Santo as asshole. But it's. I think it's fine because it just adds. It's more of an insider type of thing, so everybody that's more inside gets it. Whereas the fans are. I think the fans kind of see, it's Santo's grandson. It's a big deal.
Right.
But once the other grandson starts working, it probably changes it.
I always think it's okay to do a little inside thing like that, as long as you're not doing it to the point where fans are. And it wasn't
the focal point. The focal point was Blue Demon Jr. signed, and then Conan and Dorian Roldan came back.
Cool.
That was the other angle. Conan confronted Blue Demon Jr., and I guess that might actually end up being a match down the road, which is going to be I'm not sure that's the match. If you want, if it's a short match, it's fine, but if it's something that's going to be long, you're going to...
Right.
There's ways they could work around it. It's AAA, they're going to have cluster fights. they know who's not going to be their main event
Exactly.
workers. You know, they know this will be like your third to the top match. That people are there just to see
they are a unique product in Mexico, and they know how to work it very well. I mean, they can use guys like Blue Demon Jr. In the correct way.
Yeah. And he's working well with Macias and Tejano Jr. and
Cool.
and LA Park, but we'll get to him later.
Yeah, LA Park and a few. Blue, what was I going to say? It has been ages since I've seen him work, actually. I think the last time I saw him work was, I think, when...
1990.
when he and Adam Pierce were wrestling each other.
Well, that wasn't that long ago. That was like 2007, maybe?
Yeah.
2008?
Yeah.
Probably. Somewhere around
But that's the only thing I've seen, so...
Yeah.
I'm the king.
That's fine. You're close. That's close enough. There's some people who haven't seen anything like since like the mid '90s. They also announced. This is the other thing. They just made did a little pick at Hijo Santo. Now they got to go after CMLL.
Right.
So they had Blue Demon Jr. announce that he was bringing the Leyenda Azul belt with him. So he had his own belt with Blue Demon's face on it.
Awesome.
Which is hilarious. And I guess they're going to have like a tournament. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's a championship, a championship that's going to be part of it or just a tournament. Which would be funny if it was a tournament because it's another way to dig at CMLL.
You get your little dig, you get your little kick to the...
Yeah, so they're doing that.
This is a huge year for Lucha Libre all around, am I right?
I mean, every week there's something going on.
Yeah, in every promotion.
And then there's like all these guys working in other places too now. Like I don't remember there being so many guys working in LA and El Paso.
Yes.
All these different Chicago. There's guys showing up in all these different places.
We have scores of guys
it's weird.
coming in.
Yeah,
here in Southern.
Yeah, and then the other big angle from the Gran Sorpresa show was there was a match between Perros del Mal and La Secta Bizarra. Mm-hmm. And Axel ran out to attack La Secta Bizarra. Mm-hmm. So everybody thought he had turned heel. What ended up happening was he removed his mask, and it ended up being Ricky Marvin underneath the mask.
Oh, sweet.
So Ricky Marvin is now part of Perros del Mal.
Sweet.
So that's actually pretty cool. He looks like he gained a few pounds too. He looks like super crazy. I mean, he looks. I mean, I hope it's the shirt, but he looked really fat.
Wow.
Yeah,
Marvin,
he gained a few pounds.
I guess on a sad note,
he's still a great worker though. So.
I guess on a sad note, when you bring up Perros del Mal is
whatever happened to them. Or the Hector Garza.
Hector Garza, according to Steve Sims, he's really...
Yeah, everybody's been mentioning, there's been some wrestlers, I guess they talked to somebody there recently, say he's not doing good.
That is really...
I mean, I think it's lung cancer, isn't it?
Yeah, and did they catch it in the late stage?
I don't know, but I was laughing because Dr. Lucha was saying well, I'm no cancer expert. And I'm like, well, there's Kurt Brown's spot in the Lucha Libre. He has some background in
I had some cancer
in chemotherapy.
Yeah,
you should call in when it's I had cancer. Brian should be like, we have our cancer insider.
That's right. That's right.
Like in sports, they have the person that handles injuries.
Yes,
the doctor. Here's the doctor of cancer.
Hombre de cancer.
Yeah, well, apparently he's doing bad. I mean, because they had his benefits shown, he couldn't make it.
I'm assuming.
But you don't know what I thought was when they say bad.
Yeah.
I think people kind of don't understand. There might be different levels of bad.
There's a chance he might be looking really bad just from all the chemo and the radiation. I think it's hard to tell unless you hear directly from him. I mean, I mean, when I had cancer, but I was so fortunate to have.
You had the good kind.
The good cancer. What Larry David called the good cancer.
Yeah.
Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I was laughing because everybody, when Steve was saying that, I was thinking about, well, he has the bad cancer. What do you expect?
Exactly.
It's like these things that you're thinking that are funny, but it's that's the way people actually think. It's you got the good kind.
And there is truth to it because
when you meet somebody, when you know somebody who's had cancer, that's how you view it.
Exactly.
Because there's there's the good cancer or that's the bad cancer.
There's ones that are harder to treat. I remember when. When I went in there, I was just in awe of all the other patients because, it was no picnic what I had.
Yeah.
I had chemo every other week, and...
that alone,
Yeah, and I'm very thankful. I didn't realize it until hindsight that my doctor opted not to do radiation on me. He said he didn't think it's necessary. Now, I later found out most doctors would just automatically do radiation.
Wow.
Which takes a lot more out of you. And the chemo... I mean, the chemo wasn't easy.
That was the brief run of Stone Cold Kurt Brown.
That's right. It looked more like when
you should have had that, like, if you would have been able to wrestle with your head. That should have been Stone Cold Vandal Drummond.
with my bald head, I looked more like Hari Krishna Drummond. I bet I could have gimmicked that pretty well too.
The one good thing is that at least your head is, your head's shaped where it's like if you go bald, you don't feel bad. You're not going to look bad.
I got to admit, it was fun to see.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I don't look that bad. I was like, because I remember when you showed up, I was like, hey, you don't look that bad.
I remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Oh God, yeah. But when I was in that cancer unit, the one thing that actually really just, I was in awe of all the people who had a lot more rough treatment, thorough treatment than I had to have, and were still keeping their chins up.
Yeah. And I imagine like Hector Garza probably is similar in that way too, because he seems like a positive type of person.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a good chance that he looks so terrible because a lot of people, when they have both the chemo and the radiation, you get sick as a dog. Yeah. I was very lucky in that in the last 15 years they've come out with some anti-nausea meds for people on chemo that for some people works amazingly well. I actually gained 20 pounds when I was on chemo.
Wow.
And the way my oncologist described it was...
Do you recommend cancer for gaining weight? That should be the next big... No, not really.
No, that wouldn't be good. Especially since I didn't want to gain.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that...
Well, that's what I always thought. I was like, man, I remember when you would come over and I'd be like, you don't look that bad. I mean, you actually look like... You looked like healthier. I think right now though, like now that you can go to the gym, you do look a little more ripped now. Like not.
Well,
like,
yeah. That was the thing I missed the most.
Not ripped like I'm talking like you look like you were more fit.
Well, when you saw me when I had gained the weight when I had cancer, I was 195 pounds. I'm back down to 180 now. I'd like to be down to 170.
You were like La Park thick back then.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Somebody bumped into you. It was like, damn.
That's right. That's right. The way my oncologist explained it is there is a chemo drug that tends to make people really nauseous, make them sick. Now, some of the anti-nausea drugs they've come out with in the past 15 years sometimes can squash that.
Oh, wow.
Now, and it works differently in different people, if that one drug that causes the nausea is negated, there's another chemo drug that actually stimulates the appetite. Wow. Did I say appetite?
That's true. I said, oh, wow, the appetite. That must be some sort of medical term that I've never heard of.
I'm glad I'm not a public speaker. Boy, would I be ridiculed.
It's so funny that you're the one that actually is more of a public speaker than I am. And it's something you that comes up with like these words like, what the hell?
I know, I invent words. I invent them. That's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. But yeah, it stimulates your appetite and... The anti-nausea drugs worked beautifully with me. I never got sick, gained a lot of weight, and some people aren't, it's not so lucky. Some of them, especially ones doing radiation, get really sick and will drop a lot of weight.
Wow.
But I have a friend who about a year ago started getting treatment, and she's doing really well. But the same thing happened to her that happened to me. She gained a bunch of weight.
And, well, and I could see that happening because I mean, when it's a lot of like more of a lot of liquid or something. I guess you're taking more liquid in. Yeah,
so I'm hoping, good vibes and prayers to Hector Garza.
Yeah, I hope such a wonderful like wrestler.
Oh man, he's great.
You always hear positive things about him too as a person. So
really,
a lot of
cool guy.
A lot of family in the wrestling business too.
Wow, yeah, it is really amazing, even compared to just 20 years ago, what they can do.
I guess, I think LA Park was the one that actually ran the benefit show for him.
Did he really?
Apparently, that might have been...
He's up on my list even more now.
For a guy who's got a reputation for being hard to deal with, business-wise.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. He tends to... And speaking of LA Park...
That's the big news we were referring to.
Yeah, the big news. I think about a week ago, he showed up at... Hijo de Santos press conference for his Todo por el Todo show. Mm-hmm. And he did one of his grandstand challenges wanting to face Dr. Wagner Jr. in another mask match.
Yes.
And he asked Santo to be the one in charge of running the show because it was his show. And so everybody was like, and then he mentioned that he was gone from AAA. Kind of, I don't know if he mentioned it or he kind of like made it understood that there was something about that.
Well, I remember hearing rumblings about
that
it.
he had,
People
he kind of, yeah, I think more or less he said that he was independent. He didn't really say he was gone from AAA. And then everybody like started wondering, because AAA is part of that. AAA and CMLL both have a deal where wrestlers can't work with Santo
right.
in Mexico. In the U.S., it's kind of become a little more freer. So everybody started wondering, well, does that mean he's gone from AAA or what's going on? So everybody was wondering what was going on. And that was the big scuttlebutt for about a day. Everybody was just like, what's going on here? What's going on? So then Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday or was it yesterday? What was it? Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what happened yesterday? Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday, I think early morning, one of the guys who reports for Medio Tiempo, Apollo Valdez, he writes out that he just visited Facebook. I guess he saw it on Facebook.
Right.
He's like, and LA Park just quit, announced that he quit AAA.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to read, I got this off the LuchaWorld blog, the quote that you put up about what LA Park said about the situation.
Uh-huh.
And he said, AAA is and will be a great promotion, but I am a hippie, and I like to have my freedom to do whatever I want. And now I must continue treading his own road. This is so cool.
He's like a poet now.
He is a hippie. He's got to start going to the ring to... We have to write Paulina Cardegian and get permission for him to do the hippie song from Argentina. The hippie soy. He's
got to do something.
Well, that's why I was singing the Grateful Dead song at the beginning of this, is because LA Park is one of my favorite wrestlers ever now. He's a hippie.
And that was so funny how he thanked everybody in AAA. He said he thanked them. He actually apologized for being such an ass.
Wow.
Sometimes because he said he's hard to deal with.
You don't hear...
Because I've heard he's a diva a bit a lot of the time. Him and Dr. Wagner. And I think it happens with a lot of the guys who are older and have made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of have that mentality still today that, hey, we're stars.
Right.
We should be treated this way. Whereas younger guys are a little more like... They're still at that phase where they're still getting pushed.
They watch their step.
Yeah, unless they're a young guy who's already like knows he's the shit, and he's gonna be like, I want to be the number one guy.
Right.
He's gonna be like that. But I mean, LA Park and Dr. Wagner Jr. are like 47 years old now, so
that's so weird to think.
Yeah, it was so funny because people.
I'm 51. I'm in denial about it.
Well, Nero Casas is what, 50 or something like that.
And to be in the shape.
Yeah, 50, 52, something like that, and he's married to Dallas Caribeña, who's got a nice body.
How old is she?
She's got to be in her, I don't know, like late 30s probably,
oh, okay,
early
that's cool.
40s.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's got to be, I think she might be in her early 40s.
Awesome.
I can't remember, I think somebody mentioned it
Power
once.
to them wrestling
Yeah, yeah, but she sucks in the ring. You're like, oh, I haven't seen her. You've seen her wrestle, haven't you?
Yes, I have, actually, yes.
You just don't want to comment on her because she's a Casas?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I bow to that family.
No negativity towards the Casas family?
I'm going to be in denial.
Yeah, not even Danny Casas? Who I'm sure you'll see at some point.
Okay, I have not seen him, so I'm good.
Yeah, if you're watching IWRG, so you'll probably see him.
Is he bad or is he green?
I haven't seen him in a while, so I can't tell you.
And IWRG I'm enjoying.
Yeah, back to LA Park. Well, he quit. So basically all this stuff is going on and they're doing this whole USA. They're gonna expand to the US at some point. At least that's what Conan's mentioned. Yes. Dorian's mentioned. Everybody's mentioned. And one of the other things that Conan had mentioned, and they actually announced like 2 months ago, that they were going to have a brand split.
Yes.
Well, since LA Park had left and Dr. Wagner Jr. had left earlier, I thought, well, maybe they're not going to do it. And it's been a while since it has happened. Well, then on Thursday, they announced that they did the brand split. They split the promotion into two. Basically, it's split into two TV shows. Everybody's going to work together on one TV show, their main show, the Sin Límite show on Galavision or Televisa in Mexico. And the other brand, one of them will be on TVC Deportes as the Fusion brand. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is going to be on another network. I'm guessing it's going to be that one network that's the Televisa Deportes network. Okay. Or it's going to be the US one. I have no idea.
The Evolution?
And that's the Evolution group. And the way they split it is so one-sided. And it's hilarious because Dorian Roldan is heading the Evolution group. Mm-hmm. And Dorian supposedly is the one that is causing all these problems for the family. He ends up getting everybody in his group. And then Joaquin Roldan gets basically Phoenix.
It is so different, and it's not that I wouldn't want to see the fusion group, but definitely, you're talking about popularity and who you want to push and who's a named star.
I think you would want to see fusion.
Yeah,
because you're not somebody who's just thinking about the names.
Right.
I think you would enjoy seeing fusion just because of the First of all, they'll bring in like some of the young guys from IWRG, and they'll bring in younger talent too.
That'd be awesome.
And then they'll probably come up with some of the wackiest looking groups ever. Matches just because they don't have enough to fill out the rest of the group.
Yes.
And they have Phoenix, who's pretty good, and they have Dinastia, who's really good. Although Dinastia is not gonna have anybody to wrestle because they have all the minis. It's basically, I don't even know why they broke up the minis, because there's really not. There's basically Dinastia and Mini Abismo Negro.
Right. And
they broke those two guys apart. It's one on one side and the other in the other promotion.
Now, do you have a sense of which group that they're going to push if they come into the U.S.?
I think it's going to be the Evolution group, because that's the one with all the names.
Yeah.
Because that one has basically everybody. It has Cibernetico, Paraguayo, Junior, Blue Demon Junior. Who else is on there? That makes sense. They basically have everybody. The other group basically is just is going to be La Parca, the other Parca Negra.
Yeah, I guess
that's the weird one that they have those guys going into.
I know. I guess I was surmising if they were trying to create, because it sounds like they're trying to create.
There's a lot of names they didn't mention.
Show for an American audience. It's like they am I recalling correctly that they kind of want to book Lucha Libre for gringos on the American show?
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what AAA basically has been.
So I'm wondering if they want to get a show that's in English. I'm wondering if they're thinking that they can create a whole new cavalcade of stars where, to casual fans, they might not know.
And that's what everybody's confused about, because everybody thought that maybe they were going to bring in indie U.S. guys to fill out the roster, but then you look at the Evolution group, and it's already packed.
Yes.
It's already packed, so maybe it's the Fusion group. I don't know. I mean, but the Fusion group doesn't have anybody. You have to have a name on that group. And really, the two names are it's La Parca.
That's why I was thinking La
Parca. And Vampiro. But Vampiro's not going to wrestle that often.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm guessing it's the Evolution group that's going to end up being the one. And then I'm sure they're going to bring in, like, if a guy isn't known in the U.S. or in Mexico, maybe they'll bring him to the Fusion group, have him work there, have him introduced to the Mexican group, get enough highlights off of that show, and then use them on the Evolution group at some point afterwards. Because just because they're split doesn't mean they're not going to work on the main show, and then like on the other. It's kind of like Raw and SmackDown. There's only going to be so long before they get back together again. So I don't know. It's
interesting.
It's
going to be a fascinating year for Lucha.
It also tells me that everybody. I'm guessing all these guys on the Evolution group probably realize that they didn't want to be on the Fusion show. I mean, that's the way I see it. Because I think of all the guys, of all the big names, I think the only one that wouldn't be a headache would be La Parca. Because he's already a guy who's already been through like a lot of injuries. Yeah. He's more of probably a guy who wouldn't mind just staying in Mexico.
Yeah, and you also know what a silly underdog type of guy I am. I'm more intrigued with the Fusion group, because here's a bunch of guys who suddenly are going to get these pushes.
And that's the other thing. I mean, that's basically going to make Phoenix. He's going to basically have to be the star of the promotion, Phoenix. Then you have the Inferno Rockers. It's not that bad. When you look at it, there's no names. But then you look at it and it's like, okay, they have Phoenix. They have Dinastia. Inferno Rockers. Stars. Yeah, those three guys. Great. They have Psycho Circus, which is, but they need a feud with.
They're fun.
Yeah, and they have to feud with somebody.
Yeah.
And they have La Parca Negra, who's a good worker. Pentagon Jr. Octagon Jr. There's another story with that guy.
I've asked before, and I always forget. The nephew of.
Who's Octagon Jr.?
No, is that what Octagon, Pentagon.
Pentagon Jr. is
nephew of Espanto Jr.
Or? No, I don't know who. I think he's I can't.
I'm sorry. There's another Espanto now, isn't it? Who's related to
Espanto? Yeah, Espanto's in CMLL.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
not the Pentagon Jr. Pentagon Jr. is another worker.
God, I feel old.
Yeah, and the Octagon Jr. thing, that he still says he will come at some point to AAA, but he's booked everywhere, so he can't. He just can't make it.
Wrestlers.
He's an American guy. I mean, he's gonna. If you're in America, your number one goal is to make it to WWE.
Right.
And you're gonna want to make dollars, not pesos.
Yeah.
I mean, as much pesos as I don't think AAA can match the amount of money they're gonna pay.
I know I've said this a jillion times, but I'm still kind of baffled at guys who want to make it big in WWE when one, it's such,
I think they
you
just
get put in developmental forever, and then maybe you
now
get
it's
a
not
show.
that now it's not that often, not that long, because they don't have any
But,
everybody's moving up now because it's basically not a lot of
yeah, but for every one person who moves up, there's dozens and dozens.
they always bring in new
farmed out.
guys, a bunch of new guys.
And I mean, you won't make jillions of dollars, but it seems like I'm more fascinated now more than ever. There's so many places to wrestle. I mean, other than back in the days of the territories. I mean, places to wrestle in Japan. I mean, there's
even the U.S., like the indies now.
Yes.
There's more lucha promotions lately, like not promotions, but just people running shows.
Yeah, you won't get fabulously well.
You know what I find
would have
funny,
a much more
and we'll probably talk about this. What we'll talk about later is Lucha Libre USA, and how they don't really bring in any.
Yes.
They really didn't bring in any top any young talent. Like they didn't build anybody up. It's basically Hurricane Helms and guys who are
It
known.
feels like they came up with a good idea for a promotion and never knew what to do with it.
Yeah,
never said, okay, where do we go with this?
Well, basically that's the big story for AAA with their roster splitting.
And how is what is the sitch with CMLL these days?
CMLL running tournaments as always. Actually, they're having a big show tonight, which of course now people are going to ask us why we're doing a show tonight when
It's
they're running.
Friday night, guys. The show's starting to take place right now.
It's hard. Yeah, it's actually probably going to start in another hour. Or
Is
two.
it a 3-hour time difference? What's the time?
I don't know the
difference?
time difference.
Okay.
That's the Cubs fans. That's who I go to like when I need to know like
Okay,
the time.
Cubs fan, you must email us. You understand?
Well, it's kind of late now. I mean,
Well, email us anyway, Cubs fan. We need the attention. We're lonely.
They're doing a show where it's Mystico versus Averno, with the winner getting I think it's the welterweight, one of the welterweight titles, the one they took off Titan, the
Now,
one they
Averno
Titan.
and Averno could make Mystico shine.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he's not that ready. But they're charging so much money for him, they need to make him a star, basically, Mystico.
Right.
So they're
There's
trying
no
to do
turning
that.
back.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're doing Averno on Friday, and then on Sunday it's Volador Jr. versus Mystico 2 in a singles match. So they're both assigned to make Mystico 2 look good.
Wow, now last time I saw Mystico 2,
He's not that bad.
he's not gonna. No, I like him. I feel bad for him because he's put in such an awkward situation. And
He's not that bad, but here's the thing: Titan's better. Mascara Dorada's better. La Sombra's better.
Yes. Well, that's why I feel bad for him. 'cause
Rey Cometa's better.
people
Valiente is better. And back when the first Mystico, there weren't a lot of like you had Santo and Negro Casas were really the only guys who were ahead of him,
Yeah.
and maybe like there were some other young guys, but it wasn't like now. It's like if you look at Mystico 2, he's basically like in the Super Halcón and Hot Hombre Bala Jr. level.
That's
really,
the way to
like,
put it.
As a
The
worker.
reason I feel bad for him is when I see him, it looks like he's really trying.
You know who I
People-
think-
people boo and jeer him
Yes.
and mercifully.
And you know who I think is better than him, than Mystico 2 right now?
Who's that?
Oro Jr.
Yes.
Have you
We
seen his
talked about
finisher?
that.
He named his finisher.
No,
It's called La Dorada.
Oh.
Which, of course, you're going to be like, wow, another Dorada. Another...
Well, I might have seen it. Describe it.
It's the one where he climbs on the guy's on the back, and he grabs the guy's arm into like a submission hold.
Yes.
Yes, I think you've seen it.
I have. I saw him once. In fact, we're talking about this a few.
I think we
weeks ago.
talk about.
He is damn good.
Yeah,
I
think he's still like you still need like another year to just get him like
Yeah.
a little more prepared.
And for those,
But I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah. I mean, for somebody at this stage, he's a really
Him and
he's solid.
Soberano Jr. Because Soberano Jr. also he had a match where I thought, man, like months ago, like last year, where I thought, man, this guy's way out of his element. But now
Yeah.
he's kind of gotten better.
Well, and I have to say, for those of us old enough to remember the original Oro, there's something, how do you say, almost sentimental and wistful when you see him do that patented Oro backflip.
Really, yeah.
That
A lot of the stuff he does is like you're just thinking, man, this guy's going to be another Oro.
yeah, but
You don't want it to.
but you
Yeah.
remember how Oro did that?
Because he even has like the same look. Like
Yeah.
he's still thin, a lot lighter than him, but he's still even like the skin tone and everything. He just reminds me of
Exactly.
Oro. It's like fuck.
I really hope.
I wish they'd stop him. I wish they wouldn't bring it up so much, but
bring up.
Oro dying
Yeah, that's
every time he wrestles, which is kind of like it's
I know
kind
that's
of a bummer.
not cool.
But I mean, it's fine if they bring it up, but not all the
I
time.
mean, it's a cool. I mean, now how is he related to Oro? He's actually.
I think
blood
he's
relative, right?
the nephew or something.
Okay, that's what. Yeah, that's what I thought I had heard.
Something like that.
I mean, this probably sounds corny as hell, but what a testimonial! I mean,
well, all these guys who have done the oral gimmick have turned out pretty decent, like Mike Segura and all those guys.
This guy is like, I hope he keeps the gimmick. I hope he keeps it.
Oh, going. Freelance is in the AAA Evolution site.
No way.
Yeah,
that's good. One of my favorite names for a wrestler ever.
You've seen him work a little more often now, right?
Yes.
Not the old tapes, not the old DVDs I gave you and you never watched.
No.
I think you might have seen him back then, though. Like, I think I showed you a clip of him once.
I don't recall how he was back then.
Short, little Mexican guy.
Yeah, as long as his name is Freelance, I'm fine. I love that name.
They should have him, like, writing.
I know.
It should be him typing Freelance. And then, like, him zooming out, like... Or remember that old, who was it, Stephen J. Cannell, or who was it, the guy who used to do the A-Team and stuff like that, where it would be like, or like those shows in the 80s, where it would be like a typewriter. And then, like,
or Kolchak the Night Stalker when he's typing late at night.
And then, like, it would end, and he would move the thing, that thing, I don't know what it's called, that held the paper. It would let it go.
The roller,
the roller. The paper would fly, and then it would turn into like a feather or something.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, and Freelance, we could have him feud with a guy named Under Contract. That would be bitchin',
Yeah, but I mean, right now CMLL. Oh, they're also doing their Gran Alternativa finals, which is going to be Bobby Zavala teaming with Rey Escorpion.
Escorpion, who rocks.
Yeah, and who's the other team? Atlantis and Hombre Bala Jr., I think, is the other team. It's probably going to end by now, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool.
But I mean,
if there's a tournament, I'm glad when it ends. They just do too many tournaments.
Yeah, they were doing 2 at a time like this year. I mean, it was like they did, and then they also did like Torneos Cibernéticos to crown new champions too. Well, they did that thing to rip off Titan also.
Now, what? We know how we feel about those tournaments. Do we know how the fans there feel about tournaments?
I think, like, if you're like a diehard CMLL fan, it's not going to matter.
Right.
Like, if you're a diehard, because there's 2 different types of diehard wrestling fans. Those who like defend everything their promotion does till the end.
Yeah.
They even when it dies, they say, "Well, it could have survived if this," and they'll find reasons that it didn't involve like the wrestlers themselves or the promotion. And then you have the fans who kind of are like, they can see what's going on.
Exactly.
They can see that there's something wrong, and that's what I kind of look at CMLL that way, where it's like some people they're going to defend it, others aren't going to.
I know. Yeah, well, I'm a staunch CMLL fan, but like I said before, I like it despite all the bumbling. Have
you been watching any recent Thunder?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, he's awful. He's actually not that bad. As bad as like his first. That Guadalajara. Like
I have never. Okay, I've seen some super green guys. I don't think I've ever seen such a horrible debut.
He's not
ever.
I think he's kind of. But the thing is, like, the weird thing is, like, this is a big guy and he's doing little man spots, and it's like doesn't work. Stupid. It's stupid. I don't think this guy wrestled like. I don't believe that they did the 6-year thing, because I don't even see like him.
There's no way.
I don't even see him having like fundamentals. Like, I mean, dude, I've seen American guys who never wrestle lucha show up and they can actually do some of the basic shit.
I've seen little kids do better matches.
And it's like, how the fuck is this guy like? He can't do certain stuff. It's like.
I don't think he's even trained for 6 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, that guy just...
I think he just started training when he showed up. Somebody probably saw him. He was probably on vacation in Mexico one day. A big bodybuilder dude. And somebody from CML was like, holy shit, there's that big dude. You should try wrestling. You'll make lots of money. Really? And then he started training. He stayed there for like
an old urban myth of, hey, you want to be in the movies, kid?
Yeah,
we're going to make you a star.
You used to hear stories about bodybuilders making it into wrestling because somebody found them like at a... like in the Florida territory. Remember there was...
Or remember in Venice Beach, Blassie saw Hulk Hogan flexing on the beach. And
is that a story?
That was one of the old...
But it wasn't true, right?
No.
Because, I mean, there have been guys who actually made it that way. Like, they showed up, they were bodybuilders. Or, I mean, I'm told that's how it happened.
Yes.
But it's like, you're watching this guy and it's like, holy crap, this guy just sucks.
Yeah, this... I mean, I've seen guys who are green, and I don't. As long as they're not hurting people, I have no problem with people who are green if they're getting over. But this guy was just.
He's gonna have to work with Negro Casas like every single show.
Oh, Negro Casas! Yeah. Give him a pay raise if he does.
Have you watched that anniversary, the Arena Coliseo anniversary show?
Nope, I've watched almost nothing. Yeah. The only thing I've seen.
It has Cubs fan recorded it, but with no sound. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Really,
I watched it live though on Terra.
Oh, wow.
But the Black Cherry match with Negro Navarro, that was really good. That was really good. Yeah, it is. The only problem is it doesn't have the sound, and you need the sound because it starts with Black Cherry and Averno. And it was funny because the guy who does the camera work and the website for CMLL, as soon as Averno's wrestling, he's like, "And you guys said he wasn't a maestro." And it's like I think a lot of people were just viewing it as an age type of thing.
Yes.
Or like guys who actually trained, so they didn't really understand how because Averno doesn't have a name as a trainer, and so he was talking about that. But as soon as those two guys get out, and they bring in Blue Panther and Negro Navarro, the fans just get all like really excited. Like you get like a little pop, like, oh shit, it's on. Because there's nobody there's no old guy like Negro Navarro who could get like the whole shit's going to happen, you know, type of. Because he looks like he's gonna. You never know what he could do.
He looks like one of the. Yeah,
he still looks like a.
He just has that, and he looks like such a badass.
Yeah, he looks like a badass. No. I wish they bring. I as soon as I saw him, I was like, God, they gotta bring these guys in more often.
And you see some guy who looks like such a badass do these just beautiful technical moves.
Yeah, it's and him and Blue Panther were just like going back and forth, and it's just amazing. Then they bring in Shocker and Viano 4. They weren't that bad. They were actually pretty good. But it's funny because Shocker looks as fat as Viano 4, and I kind of wrote, now you see why they brought in Shocker. They needed somebody to match the weight of Viano 4. But it was a really good match. They threw in money, but then afterwards you kind of see Negro Navarro going and like getting money, like demanding money. Because I think they were going to give the money to Ray Mendoza Jr.
Oh, very nice.
For the money he lost.
On that one show.
Yeah, the one show. That match was pretty bad, but the Ray Mendoza match in Arena Coliseo. Oh, and then the following week, I think it was the following week or a week after, they had a Relevos Increíbles match on that show. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell you, CMLL, that's what I hate about CMLL. They have the ability to come up with something creative, but it's only like one shot type of thing.
Yes.
And then like all of a sudden you're like, oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it didn't have any storyline. It didn't build. It didn't bring in more people. It was a one-shot deal. It had like maybe a few people that showed up and the few people that watched, and that was it. They have
the right idea, but the wrong idea of how to push.
Yeah, they had a trios match where they had Averno and Mephisto teaming with Maximo as a team.
Yes.
Versus I think it was Sombra, Mystico 2. Mm-hmm. No, was it Sombra? I'm trying to think it was a Sombra. Yeah, I'll get back to him. Mystico 2 and Volador Jr. And I think it was Sombra. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't Sombra, somebody can correct me later. Or I'll check later.
It
was Sombra. It's the same guy.
It's Sombra. It's all shadowy.
It's all shadowy.
Shadowy.
I'm too lazy to look for it.
Did you hear that, Umberto Zambrano?
I'm too lazy to look for it. And here I have.
That's okay, but
basically what happened was they actually worked a technical match.
Really?
You think that they worked a match where it was gonna be like, you think, okay, they're not gonna get along with the other guy on the team. So for about most of the match, Volador Jr. worked as a technico with his technical team, and Maximo worked as a Rudo with the Rudos.
How cool!
So Maximo was actually cheating and doing all the shit to like cost his team. Here it is. Oh, that was pretty quick. I found it so quickly.
He's on the laptop if you people out there in podcast.
And it was Valiente. Yes, it was awesome. Valiente. Yeah. He was awesome. Yes, and he was awesome. Because I remember Sombra was in, I think it was in El Paso actually. Or Juarez or someplace. And, that was a really good match. They had him work, he worked Rudo for much of the match. Maximo worked Rudo much of the match. Then Volador Jr. as a technical. They're building it to the very end. Maximo screws up and hits Averno. So you think, oh, Averno's going to get pissed at Maximo.
Yes.
No. They continue the match. Volador Jr. gets in. Mystico screws up and ends up hitting Volador Jr. So then you're like, okay, maybe he's not going to do anything either. So then they end up pinning Mystico too. Maximo and all of them, they do this. Volador Jr. comes back in and starts beating the shit out of Mystico too.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, so they're building a Sunday feud between them two. So this Sunday is going to be their next match. It was a really good match.
Awesome.
Yeah. Did you watch any CMLL? No, nothing.
I have watched nothing since before going to Cauliflower Alley. I have been doing nothing but kind of working and running errands and going home, and I have a lot of catching up on my wrestling watching to do. And for all you old Slam and Stan fans, no, I have watched no WWE in a long time,
or TNA, even less.
Even less TNA. And,
you haven't watched WWE lately?
Not really.
How about that Undertaker?
I heard he equals ratings.
Yeah,
so
he's really good.
No, I'm still curious about whenever there's an Alberto Del Rio angle of any kind.
Yeah.
I'm still on his bandwagon. No, I'm really.
So you haven't been seeing Antonio Cesaro yodeling?
No, but that
people,
could actually,
yeah, people hate
it.
And he's jobbing though, which is the problem. Like the yodeling, I mean, yeah, it's stupid.
The yodeling could actually drive me to WWE if he was yodeling. Along
See, I like it. I like yodeling. I mentioned how I like yodeling, but it's like it's a jobber thing. You basically the yodeling is something a job. Oh, you haven't been following Fandango either, right?
No,
Fandango.
But I've been hearing that he actually
It's basically a UK thing. It's not working.
Oh, it's not working here?
It's not.
Oh, because I heard a lot of people like it.
It's more of a UK thing where the fans over there really like it, and over here I think people I think some of them kind of think, oh yeah, we saw it on Raw,
right?
It's cool, but then some are like, yeah, it's actually not that cool.
What I'm hearing is it's not
mixed.
nearly as stupid as it initially looked.
It's actually not that stupid. Like the Fandango character isn't that bad. I actually kind of like it because but then again, I'm a lucha guy,
right?
You know, we've seen Latin Lover, we've seen all these dudes who dance.
And I always dug those guys.
And you know, it's weird, because this is the other funny thing. Conan, you know how he always shits on all the stripper gimmicks and all that stuff? They came up with a new group called Los Mireyes.
What is Mireyes?
Mireyes are basically these, like, Mexicans kind of metrosexuals.
Oh, yeah.
But guys who, like, hang out with, like, whatever girl they can find, just to look like they're cool and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're supposed to look trendy. But they also do like the stripper thing. So it's basically Toscano, El Ejido, and Alan Stone.
Awesome.
And it's actually a cool trio. It's a cool trio. But so they put them on the Evolution group also, which is also Conan's. So awesome. that cracks me up.
I always thought in Mexico the stripper gimmick worked better than anywhere.
See, I can understand people kind of being annoyed by it, like when somebody really likes it and it kind of gets annoying when you hear somebody like constantly bring it up. But I kind of like get it because it attracts. First of all, good-looking dudes are always going to attract more women.
Yes.
And the more women, it means more dudes are going to show up at
every time El Ejido does the spot where he strips down, the women just
I dig the
nuts.
music. I actually don't like the dancing. Like, it's weird. Like, I like his entrance.
When he gets his trunks,
I like.
the girls
I don't like that,
That's
but
cool.
I actually dig the way they have it, like the music, because it starts with that more of a like a techno, just a straight beat, and all of a sudden it's a dance music, you know, like. And I actually dig that song for some reason, but
I mean, that's one of the things that I think has been such a strong suit of AAA is there is a little something for every kind of fan there.
And you could kind of tell that Conan isn't like, he's not the final say in the everything.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure some of this stuff he wouldn't like want. Like I think he's more of a guy who wants like more serious wrestling, work rate, more like that. And I mean, Mireyes are still around.
Or you and I, we like it as
the Exoticos are still around. I mean, they have that black Mamba now.
Yes.
Black Mamba. They have Bungabilia, who I think is kind of an Exotico too. And
I have not seen
Bungabilia. There was another one. There was one in in IWRG, but he changed his name to Chicano. I guess it's because of that guy. He probably had him change his name. But yeah, he's actually, I haven't seen him that much, but I've seen him.
I take it as Chicano, he's not.
Mamba's great. Mamba actually, you didn't see this show. I was going to tell you. If you saw the show last year, they had a Father's Day show where not the ring girls, but the CMLL luchadoras, they danced.
Oh, no way.
The person that choreographed the dance was Mamba.
Really?
And now he wrestles for AAA.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those dudes that kind of looks like a girl. So it's kind of like a creepy thing
He
where
has that androgynous.
yes, where it's like, oh my god, he kind of looks like a girl. It's like I can imagine he kind of like Yuriko. Yuriko kind of looks like Rosie Moreno.
So kind of like if he was dressed like in a unisex style, you'd wonder, guy, girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
he kind of has that look. Like
Cool.
you see that he's kind of changed his features, like because he used to look more like a guy before, but now he kind of looks more like I think he's kind of done more probably doing some sort of.
I'm mistaken for a girl over the phone all the time.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll pick up the phone when it rings and...
Ma'am.
yeah, seriously. Is this Mrs. Brown?
Oh,
And I'm like,
jeez.
no, this is Mr. Brown, Sugar Plum.
Yeah, I think my dad gets that too sometimes.
I'm glad I'm not the only
Yeah,
one.
I don't get that.
It,
I always try to speak up louder, like, hello.
I did that for a while, but I said, I'm not going to fight it.
Yeah.
There's better things to be worried
That's
about.
why when you answer the phone, you gotta go, hello.
The funniest thing that happens is, with my hair being long again, is at least twice a month I'll be at the grocery store, and as I'm checking out the kid bagging the groceries, he's looking at the groceries, but he sees me out of the corner of his eye, so he says, do you need help out to your car, ma'am? And then he looks at me more directly and goes, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's like, you can tell you're not just from the face.
I know, and I'm
it's
just like, God, don't worry.
I could
about it,
understand
dude."
if you didn't have like a stubble or anything, or like, a little bit of a...
Yeah, I say
No, you
that-
got...
he'll apologize. He apologizes, and I just say, don't worry about it, Buttercup. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where they... What was I talking about? All of a sudden, we're like, "What?"
Yeah, we're getting into
yeah,
a whole,
we're talking about Black Mamba for some reason.
Black Mamba. And
Yeah.
we're talking about his
Oh,
dance moves,
the AAA crew.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mireilles thing and all that stuff. We're talking about Fandango, so it's like I think we can accept. We're more accepting to the whole dancing thing, whereas like
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, they brought in one of the girls that Russell's to be his valet also.
Right.
So and she's
you know me, silly. I love silly.
yeah, that's basically the WWE.
Okay, so
The Shield is everything else.
Okay, so between now and next show, we gotta get Paulina Cardigan to hook up with on the phone or by email with La Parka. And I mean, not La Parka, LA Park, and get him to use the hippie soundtrack music from Titani's Final Ring.
Too many
she owns the
parkas.
rights. Too many parkas, too little time. That's what it is.
We should talk about Lucha Libre USA folding.
That's right.
Although I don't know if it is.
But it looks like it's on.
They
purpose.
canceled some shows. Yeah, like Conan said, they had they could have had a better business plan, and kind of didn't want to talk to the certain people that could actually help them out. So
That's a shame.
and here's the thing: if you're gonna run a wrestling promotion, here's the thing: just because maybe you don't know that person, you don't know what he's done. You may not agree with how they run their business, but it's always good to talk to somebody who's actually done something in wrestling.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's giving the devil the due. You keep your mind open and your ears open. You don't want to rule stuff out. I mean, I think, and a lot of the up and coming so-called big lucha promotions, it's almost like you can almost tell when they're doomed to fail now.
Yeah.
Really early on. It's like it looks like they're
Unless
such
you have like
vague-
you have a good money mark, then you're pretty much safe.
Yeah, well, even then,
For a while.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of promotions that started off with a money mark, and still the people using it didn't know what they're doing, or
Yeah.
I mean, I'd hate to be the one who had to start up a promotion. I think it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of how do you say? A lot of passion.
But see, the thing is, like, if it's us, it's an indie level. Basically, people
That's
are
all I would ever
going
wanna
to
do.
expect something small. If it's somebody like us or somebody like who's not a corporation.
Oh, my passion.
This is
yeah.
the Lucha Libre USA had a backing of a guy who had money,
Yes.
and they still fucked it up.
Right.
They had MTV2. And since the very moment that MTV2 was in it, you knew they were going to fail.
Right.
Like I told you, I talked to that one dude who had no idea what was going on. It was one of those things where he kept on asking me what was going on.
Yeah, they were pretty
And
much
it's like,
an
yeah.
invisible promotion.
And that's the other thing. If you don't have communication, even if it's an intern, and he doesn't even know what you're doing,
yeah.
you got to be able to tell the people
And
what's
it
going
seemed like there
on.
was no inspiration there. There was no passion. I mean, I don't know what other word to use, but it just seemed like, we're going to do a lucha promotion.
And it wasn't lucha. It wasn't even lucha. I mean, when you think lucha in the U.S., you're thinking AAA and what they do, or CMLL. you're thinking Mask, you're thinking all this stuff. You're not thinking like Marco Corleone as your number one guy, which I mean, nothing against Marco because I think he's great. He's a talented, wonderful guy, you know, everything. But I mean, he's not what I think when I think lucha libre.
Yeah, he's not your main.
He's part of the show. He's a headline guy, I understand, but he's not. When I think lucha libre, I'm thinking like Santo, Blue
He's
Demon,
not your flagship.
Blue Demon guys who are masked.
By any means. Yeah.
I'm not thinking Lismark Jr. either.
Well, it's funny, and this is again.
It was Lismark Jr. who was like lazy.
Lazy Jr.
Lazy Jr.
Lazy Mark Jr.
Yeah.
Lazy Mark.
Yeah, but
well, and again, this is an indie level thing, but the way the Lucky Pierre gimmick was born is because Frankie D and I were wrestling each other on some TV taping. Again, people who invested a ton of money to make a really professional TV taping that never aired. But it was supposed to be Vandal Drummond versus Frankie D, and the promoter was, "Oh, but you're supposed to do a lucha libre match." And I'm going, "Oh yeah, we both wrestle lucha style." And he says, "But you don't have masks." And we're trying to explain to him what lucha style is, and he goes, "No, lucha libre means masks."
Yeah.
And this was the guy running the show.
Yeah, and that's when I saw.
And there's people. I bet you there's people with a lot more money than that.
There are a lot of people who hate that there aren't masks. Like certain guys don't wear masks in lucha libre because it doesn't fit what their description of lucha libre is. Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody's unmasked, they can accept that guy. It
reminds me of indie promoters in the 1980s who the first thing they did is they got a blonde bodybuilder who looks kind of like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, because that was the big thing. Yeah.
We're gonna be a big promotion.
We're a big promotion now.
Yeah,
but like with Lucha Libre USA, even I think I only watched the first season of it, and I mean, even when I would watch, it's like, okay, basically I'm wasting my time watching this because the only thing I really wanted to watch was Pequeño Halloween's trying to seduce Rebby Sky, basically Rebecca, whatever her name was on that show, and it was like that was basically it. Everything else was like the matches weren't that great. Masquerita Dorada would be on once in a while. That was like the exciting thing, but then like there was nothing else on.
But no great matches and no entertainment factor to replace the no great matches.
Yeah, and it wasn't even as good as that Triple L show that aired on Telemundo for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was actually not a bad show, but it just didn't have anything. It didn't have any backing or anything. And Triple A back then wasn't.
A shame it didn't have backing from these people.
And then Triple A back then isn't Triple A now, where it's like they have more names. I mean, Peña was basically bringing in like he basically had all his names, like the guys he created, and that was basically it. But I mean, they had a show here in Ontario. I didn't even think about going.
Neither did I. I briefly thought,
and they had Strongman on the show. That was the only reason.
That's how Strongman was on the show, and I still didn't want to go. And I think it was the day I was heading up to go to Cauliflower.
Yeah, because I told you that.
If it was more intriguing, I probably would have stayed and left for Cauliflower later. And you know what that would have meant, Fredo?
That I would have gone?
You would have gone because I wouldn't have driven you home.
You didn't think about that. You didn't think about that.
That's
you
right.
failed. It was your own damn fault.
Well, there's next year, and you heard what he said earlier, ladies and gentlemen. That Fredo said I will definitely go to Cauliflower Alley next year.
We have to talk about the other thing.
Uh-oh.
We have to talk about Mexico.
What?
Dave Meltzer, the Dave Meltzer story.
I saw Dave Meltzer at Cauliflower Alley at the banquet.
You know the funny thing? I should mention this.
Okay.
Right before that, like I think 2 weeks prior to your discussion, or probably a week prior, I got asked if I would be interested in going to Mexico City, and I thought, well, I mean, besides financially and stuff like that, you got to think about this stuff way ahead. But I thought, not really. It wasn't something because it's like, there's a lot of factors behind it besides not being somebody who enjoys flying, getting on a plane. That's the other thing.
I'll get some stoners.
Yeah, you'll knock me out.
I'll get some stoners or from Darvon.
Yeah, but then there's the other thing about Mexico City. I mean, a lot of people in Mexico City or in Mexico don't realize that there's a Mexico City. It doesn't matter if it's Mexico City, Monterrey, TJ, Juarez. We all think it's we all think it's all gang invested, cartels everywhere. We all think that. There's nothing you're going to tell us. So it's like, we have to think about this carefully. So then I had actually said, no, I really hadn't thought about that. And then you end up going to Vegas and talking to
Dave Meltzer. I was talking with Dave Meltzer, and I just mentioned, hey, it'd be kind of cool to go if the Atlantis versus Ultima Guerrero card comes off for the anniversary show, it'd be fun to go. And he just lit up. Like, yes, wouldn't that be great? I go, yeah, it would be. And I told him, what would be so cool is Fredo will come with us because he speaks Spanish. You know, and so you got your passport?
No.
Oh, get your
I
passport,
better get it.
dude. Get it. Seriously, it'd be fun. And it's not like we're going to get off at the airport and go for a long walk down a dark street and look for taxis.
If I'm the one in charge of finding out where these places are, we will be going in dark alley.
And Fredo will say in Spanish, these two gringos hate you and they hate everything.
These guys are the gringos.
Yes, I am your friend.
Yes.
They are not.
But it would be interesting. I mean,
I think it would be fun.
If it's Atlantis versus Ultimo Guerrero, it would be something worth
It would be a
playing.
historic match.
Yeah.
It would be the biggest match since Atlantis versus
Viano 3.
Tercero. Yeah. Now, and if this match does come off, and if it is a big gate, if Atlantis is not in the Hall of Fame, I'm going to be really pissed off.
I think Dave's just going to write him in if he goes to the show.
I think so. I hope so. Yeah.
I think if we end up going, we'll be sitting there and we'll just be telling Dave, you might as well just write his bio.
And I have a hunch that we're not going to be the only gringos going if it comes up. I really think this would be.
This would be like the LuchaWorld convention.
Yeah, and exactly. That's what it would be.
The LuchaWorld, Lucha Libre, Lucha Blog. Hey, Lucha Blog. We should get
Lucha
Cubs
Blog.
fan.
Yes.
Cubs, if Cubs fan goes, I will go.
Yes. Okay. We're.
He ain't going.
I'm gonna.
I don't know.
I'm gonna write him. I'm gonna write him tonight an email.
Dearest, the Cubs fan.
Yeah, Mr. Cubs fan. Is your name Cubs fan or fan Cub?
The Cubs fan.
El aficionado de los Cachorros.
And you'll be like, please come to Mexico.
Yeah, please come to Mexico.
And then you'll start recruiting every single person just to make sure there's enough gringos.
Totally.
You know what I was thinking? We should try to get enough gringos to go so we could actually build like a little fort around us.
Oh, that would be...
Like if something happens, we won't get hurt. Am I right? That's what we got to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
that's why we got to go to some of these lucha shows, then meet some of these guys. So
we are in
we'll be in good terms with like Guerrero, Maya Jr. and all these guys.
Exactly. We want to be on their good side.
Yeah, make sure they'll protect us.
Okay, well, we covered a lot, and
there's actually another big show on May 19th that you probably would want to go to.
What's that?
There's a show called it's booked by a group called Chilanga Mask out of Chicago. It's like a clothing company.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, and they're running a show in like Coliseo Coacalco, which is like this really like it's an outdoor type of thing.
Yeah.
The show is basically like an all-star type of show. It's featuring CMLL guys versus indie guys. It's got Negro Casas versus Negro Navarro as the main event.
Oh, yeah, I would
and then
love
there's
to see that.
Black Terry versus Arcangel de la Muerte.
Sweet.
Rush versus Masada. Masada is a big Japan pro wrestling CCW type of wrestler. Who's a garbage wrestler.
Totally rocking with Rush.
I don't mean garbage in a bad way. Garbage in that's the style. That's the style. Rush. There was a match that Rush had. He did the foot stomp on this dude, double foot stomp on this dude, and then he just sat on him. He just sat on him for the pin, just sat on him and I thought, man, he's got to do that to Masada. That's got to be the finish, like Masada like holding like light tubes.
Oh my god!
And then him just foot stomping him, and then just sitting on him to end it.
I love it. Rush is so very rockin'.
And then they have Traumas versus Valiente and Virus.
Nice.
There's another match that's featuring Stuka Jr. There's a women's match, which is Silueta, Chick Tormenta. Silueta versus Chick Tormenta versus Christina Von Airy.
Okay, but no...
I think you've seen Christina Von Airy.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
But no Amapola.
No Amapola, which would have been a big coup for them. I think the person that's promoting is the dude who used to run, not run, but was part of DTU. Mm-hmm. One of the... He was kind of like one of the underling type of guys. Like, maybe not the guy in charge, but one of the guys up there. And now he's the one handling...
Gotcha.
He's handling like a lot of the bookings and stuff like that. But it looks really good. There's a lot of talent on the show. I think we should go to that show.
We should go to that show. And then after that show, we should go to Arena Mexico for the anniversary show.
Seriously, so if we go to Arena Mexico, it would just be that one day?
Yeah. Go to the show,
Wouldn't you want to go to Arena Naucalpan?
I'd love to.
So we'd have to go like on a Thursday and Sunday?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll plan ahead.
You know what we should do?
Ahead.
We should go on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Thursday, Arena Naucalpan. Friday, Arena Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, if there's a AAA show, or an indie show.
Yeah.
Then Sunday, Arena Coliseo.
Oh, you know what? Arena Coliseo.
Or Arena Naucalpan.
I've told this story so many times, but my dad tried to take me to Arena Coliseo in 1973 when I was 11 years old.
Damn. You could have seen Alfonso Dante.
Yes. Oh, everybody.
Who was there?
Both Mata brothers were in a 6-man tag. Dr. Wagner, Angel Blanco. It was an all-star card. They didn't let kids in.
Oh, right.
I was so upset. Yeah,
I remember. I think I just read something about that recently and somebody posted
God,
that.
I was so angry, and I've never forgotten that. I haven't grown out of that, so I still would.
So you're gonna, you know what you got to do is you got to go, and instead of going in, you should park a bus in front of the Arena Coliseo, so fans can't get in.
I'll be the only one.
The Tony Rivera.
There you go.
The Tony Rivera
right,
strike. Yeah.
The strike.
You got to do that.
Oh my God. No,
and then Monday you'd go to Puebla.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
And then we'd never come back because then Tuesdays are in Mexico. We'd be like, holy shit, there's wrestling every
We are new residents of Mexico.
Yeah. I would then start my own website right
That's
there.
right. And whenever you make a public
DVDs.
appearance, they would say, and now claiming to be from New Mexico, Fredo Esparza.
There you go.
Okay, well, there's our episode of Lucha World. We hope you cats had a great time, and we will be back really soon. I'm going to make a commitment. Let's see if I can keep my commitment to watch some CMLL, AAA, and IWRG.
And we might actually go to a lucha show at that point.
Yes, exactly. There are some lucha shows
there's a couple.
in the SoCal area.
There's at least 3 or 4 within the next 2 weeks, so we might actually go to one. We'll definitely be going to MPW where
we will be
Dr. Lucha's hair will be getting shaved.
You guys must come to MPW and Simi Valley May 18th. It'll be totally rocking.
Yes, Dr. Lucha will be bald that day.
That's right.
Actually, he'll have a mullet. Not for long. We'll just probably I kind of don't want to do it because I feel bad for him. But then he's the one that wants to do it.
I think he's having a blast doing it.
Yeah, he wants to do it. I told him when I saw it, I go, you don't have to do it, and nobody's going to see you.
The first thing I think of was when I was a kid, Martin Cardigan started cutting one of the hippies' hair. Not one of the wrestling hippies, but they had a whole
the fans,
hippies. Yeah. And he grabbed one of the hippies and started cutting his hair to start a Cardigan versus hippie feud.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a wrestler in Mexico called El Hippie.
Yeah, have you seen a picture of him?
I haven't.
I'll send you.
Send me one.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I've been intrigued.
If you go on, you're on Twitter now, so are you following Apollo Dantes?
No, but I can.
Yeah, follow Apollo Dantes, and he doesn't tweet that much, so maybe you could find it on there.
Okay.
If not, I'll just send it to you.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got it on there.
Awesome.
You could tell Apollo Dantes how much you liked his dad.
When I was a kid, there was 2 things I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be either Harpo Marx or a hippie. And
you've accomplished being a hippie.
Yes, exactly.
You and Alley Park had similar.
I am a hippie bastard. Totally. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, until next time. Until next time. Have a great couple of weeks. We will see you again really soon. Wait, I sound too much like Brian.
Now you're never going to end.
Okay. May the right hemisphere of the brain short-circuit the left hemisphere. May the left hemisphere of the brain short-circuit the right hemisphere. And bing, you're there. Take it easy.